welcome back everybody. So this is the last thing that I'm going to show you today. I'll probably be showing you some other things, later, but I figure this is a good sample of many of the things that you can do in this assignment. So what did we just do? So just finished mincing garlic. If you could only, there's nothing like the smell of freshly cut garlic. It's just amazing. And like I said, you get more practice and this thing is just so quick to do. It's really worthwhile doing it. And then of course we did our onion of recently. So this is the core requirements for my homemade tomato sauce for any pastas that I make. So let's set these aside for now. And also over here we have zucchinis cut different ways and potatoes as well. But now we're going to do Italian parsley. So Italian parsley is different than American parsley. It just has such more flavor and aroma that, you could probably find this at most markets. So I'd encourage you guys, and this is something that just is great to put into Italian food, top it onto dishes, just adds such amazing smell. Yeah, it's just lovely. And so it'll come in a bundle like this typically. And the trick to this, let's move that, is to kind of take off as much of the stems as you can, because you don't want to really eat the stems. So what I do, and actually I'm just gonna do some of this. I'm gonna take a couple first, and then we'll just show you a couple here and how we'll do it. So what I would do is I would just kind of take off the main, just the parts without the stems on them. Just kind of clip them off like so. Don't have to be exact, but you just don't want to get too much of the stems in there. Doesn't have any flavor really, and it's just not really tasty. So I'm just gonna, now you could do this kind of same technique I'm going to show you with mint. You could do it with cilantro, although I think I mentioned to you guys in class, it says there are very few foods in this world that I don't like. I like almost any foods there are, but for whatever reason, cilantro is one of those I don't care for. And it's funny, I've been eating Mexican food since I was like a 10-year-old kid. My father was really into it. We would cook Mexican food at home. He would take me down to Mexico all the time. When I was a young kid, we'd go down to the beach communities, and we'd even go camping down there in the beach communities. So I'm used to Mexican food forever. Like I said, I was probably about 10 years old at the time when I did that. And I've been going down there most of my life. And I've been all over around Mexico. And it is truly some of my absolute favorite food in the world. Other than Italian food, Mexican food's it. So it is kind of ironic that somebody that's into it as much as I am does not like the taste of cilantro. So it is kind of has a soapy kind of flavor that I really honestly I just don't care for it. Just like anise. Anything with anise, which is kind of black licorice, I don't care for that. And I really don't like shredded coconut. Coconut in a curry sauce, love it. The coconut milk I love. It's just the shredded coconut, just textural thing for me. Okay, so I think that's good enough for right now. So, and again, you can do as much as you want. So what I'm gonna do with this is, they're kind of these leaves like this, and you want to, you don't want to start chopping it. What you want to do is try to chop as much of the big parts of the leaves as you can. So the trick I do is, think of it almost like you're doing a chiffonade cut. So chiffonade is basil or some big leaf herb. You kind of roll it tight, almost like a cigar, and then you start chopping it a little bit, as much as you can chop it to get the majority of it, and it turns it into kind of like confetti, which is really cool. Do not have basil here at home, but what I'm going to do is kind of show you how to do something like this. So if you really like cilantro, unlike myself, maybe that's something you want to do. And you can put that in salsas or all sorts of things. So what I try to do is I try to take it, kind of put it into a tight roll, much as I can, like so. So I'm not really rolling it like because the leaves are very small, so it's really hard to do this. So I don't know if you can see this, but kind of tight it as roll as much as you can here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of like a very short cut on these things, like I was mincing things. And just really slowly. Now you could put them on the ground, put them on the cutting board, And you could do the cross chop technique and just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it would truly work. But look what happens. So just in that one technique, how much have I already chopped it? And honestly, this might be enough for you. You may not want to chop it any more than that. That may be perfectly the size you want. So at this point, this would be perfect for Italian food. Now, if you want to make it smaller, and let's just take half of it, we'll move half of it over here to have some that's a little larger, and we'll kind of show you the differences on the sizes. So I'm going to take this one here, cross chop it, and really mince it, and then I'm going to keep the larger one here so we can kind of have a comparison. Now, what you could do, you could also roll it up again if you want to, and you could do the same technique and repeat it again, like this. Just do it very slowly because your fingers are right near the blade. And as you do that more, it gets a little bit smaller. So now, I'm going to take my hand, palm down on the knife, and I'm just going to go back and forth. And you can go fast, and again, don't go fast until you're comfortable with it. And then you just keep on sweeping it up. Sweep it up like it's a broom, you know. Keep on doing it until you get the desired consistency and size of what you want. And one more. And maybe you want it really, really small. So let's look at the difference of these. Okay. So what is the difference that we have? So here is the one that I just kind of rolled it up and kind of chopped it real as close as I could. This is kind of like what I would do in the chiffonade, except you're not actually rolling because these leaves are very, very tiny, as you can see here. The leaves are very small. So, and some of these are bigger, so I guess in a way you could do them, but they're kind of curvy. So it's a very difficult thing to do, but you could try that if you want. But look at the size of the leaves here. Let me spread them out. And look at the size of the leaves here. So this is a mince right here. This is just a rough chop is what this is. So that's what they kind of call that. That's rough chop, and this is a mince. So you can kind of see a little bit of a difference between the two. And again, you can continue to chop it even more if you want to, but it just depends on the recipe, depends on what you want, what you like. So that is a demo on mincing and chopping herbs. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching my show, and hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something new, and we'll talk to you soon.